Hi, in this video I will explain how it's possible to change the name in real time of UEnum in a real engine. And I am doing so while explaining how it works the filtering class in a real engine that I have explained during the video number 2. Remember, the filtering class is useful for defining what are the bodies that collide each other depending on the layer class defined on the Jolt body class. Here you can see an example. The layer, when we open it, we can see all the 5 layers defined on the settings, and all the names are changed in real time. In a real engine, we can define the layer using a UEnum. To modify the name of UEnum, it's possible to do so by fetching the UEnum class of the EJ layer, so the actual enum defined, and by iterating on the enum by the index, is possible to set the metadata. The metadata is useful to change some properties of the enum, like the visibility or even the display name, and this exact feature is needed to implement what I just showed. In this example here, I am hiding all the enums, and then I am showing and changing the name only for the layers that are defined and the layers that I indeed need. And this is the final result. Now, speaking of where we define the layer, as said before, this is defined in the project settings. So, going to the project settings and scroll down to the Jolt settings layer, we can see that we have some properties. Here on the layers array, we can define all the layers name and the broad face. I will explain why the broad face is important in a second, but here is important that you notice that the layer name is indeed shown here and then displayed on the blueprint. On the layers pair settings instead, this is automatically changed at runtime by adding or removing the properties from the layers array. Essentially, this shows the combination between the layers. For example, for the combination of word static with word dynamic, we want that both collide, and here indeed we have a tick. But for the layer word static and word static, we don't want that they collide. There is no reason for two static bodies to collide, right? So we don't tick this box. Essentially, what we are doing here is populating a table that is then loaded when the engine starts and is used by Jolt and by the filtering class to define and decide what are the bodies that collide or not. This is explained and showed on the video number 2. In Jolt, indeed, it's possible to define more than one broad face, and this can be used to assign specific bodies. For example, all the bodies assigned with the layer word static will be associated with the broad face 0, and all the bodies with the layer word dynamic or character will be associated with broad face 1. So essentially we are grouping the bodies using the layer here, so that the broad face can keep a set of bodies right away, depending on the broad face they are in. Paying more attention to the setting that I have here, I'm noticing that this is not the best approach, and indeed I think that all the no collides that I have here should be on the broad face 0, should be grouped together, while the word static should be grouped on their own broad face, and the word dynamic should together with character should be on the broad face number 2. By grouping in this way, I am sure that I can skip all the no collide bodies right away while the word dynamic and character check the collisions, because they will just check broad face 1 and broad face 2. And that's essentially it. Thank you for watching this video, see you next week, and remember, if you have any question, leave a comment or join the Discord channel where a lot of this implementation is discussed on. Bye!